if you substitute workforce training for education, that's the end of civilization. It's the end of the human being as an entity opposed to being an animal. It's the end of the human soul. It's the end of the conscience. And we have all of the evidence from educators and change agents, articles saying that the computer is fantastic for changing values. An educator with the World Institute for Computer Assisted Instruction, his name is Dustin Houston, where he talks about, won't it be wonderful when the child in the smallest school, most remote area in the country can have the curriculum developed by the world's finest psychologists, and nobody can get between that child and the curriculum. Parents, wake up. That means you, parents, you can't get between the child and that curriculum. You can't control anything anymore. You've lost it. This is going in right now.
How do you like that, chewing me out for something I didn't even do? What do they expect me to do? Go through every one of those gear shift knobs just to find out which one some knucklehead forgot to thread? You know, that Fred Ames gives me a real pain.
Man, you sure like your chili hot, don't you?
Have you got any objections?
No, none at all. It's your stomach.
Got room for one more?
Yeah, sure. Come on, sit down, Jake, sit down.
Hope I'm not crowding you.
You don't take no room, Jake.
Hey. Forget your lunch, Bill? No, I didn't forget my lunch. All right, laughing boy, knock it off unless you want a fat lip to decorate your face with.
Now, take it easy, Bill, huh?
What's the matter with him?
Have a sandwich. All right.
Thanks.
Did all the toilets successfully work with 1.6 gallons of water flushed it?
No.
And were
But
those...
in fact, they were very quickly became apparent that the X model or the Y model was not working, and therefore those contractors no longer used that model.
Would the gentleman yield?
Be happy to hear.
Why did we agree on a 1.6 standard? How did that develop? Mr. Nolenberg alluded to that equals 6 liters. So that would lead me to believe that there is some equivalent 6-liter standard in Europe.
Yes, there are. And then, as I say, the gentleman to my left could probably tell. But in Europe has used a lesser size water closet for a long time. And I believe that they got involved in this discussion back
I mean, was there a physical pilot program, and it was determined that 1.6 gallons was the minimum necessary to do the job, or did it just kind of evolve because of the European situation? Where did that particular number? Because it is an odd. It's not 1 gallon. It's not 2 gallons. It's just an odd number.
That number, Mr. Chairman, to the best of my knowledge, was arrived at prior to 1992. There were approximately 17 states, as I mentioned in my testimony, that already moved to that direction before the 92 EPAC.
But somebody at some point in time designed a toilet.
Most of the states came up with those measures themselves. The state of Massachusetts was the first one given credit to set the limit at 1.6 gallons per minute. There were other quantities
if we
talked
had
about.
physical data that showed if we went to 2 gallons, nobody would complain. I mean, would the industry oppose? It's still less than 3.5. I'm just trying to determine from a so-called scientific standpoint if there is a reason for 1.6 versus, I mean, it's a smaller number than 3.5, but it's not a instinctively obvious number. So did somebody at some point in time go out and say, we need to design a toilet to save water, and then they do all these empirical tests and say, well, 1.6 is what works? Or did it just, somebody in Europe started making them and it just kind of happened?
I've never heard of the European influence before. Like I said, my knowledge on this is that it was set by 17 states prior to 92, and then it was enacted into EPAC, and that was the measures used.
Where I took some of your time.
Just two last quick questions. Mr. Whalen, in New York, did you replace shower heads at the same time that you
Yes, sir.
replaced
The
toilets?
240 included the shower head and those faucets that could handle the whatchamacallit, it's funny, I can't think of the word.
The flow
aerator.
restrictor.
The aerator, and the shower head and the toilet.
Should we outlaw tubs?
Pardon me?
Should we outlaw bathtubs?
Should we outlaw bathtubs?
Yes, sir.
Not to my, I frankly think that the use of bathtubs has, I mean, there's a lot of positive things. I can remember us washing our children in the tub rather than having the 6 of them in the shower because we would have had a riot. Or the other thing, you get older folks that can't really take a shower. I mean, there's a lot of uses for bathtubs.
My kids are 13, 14, trying to get them in the same tub. A little tough now. And let me assure you.
Sucedió hace muchos años en un reino junto al mar. Allí había una hermosa chiquilla, conocida por todos con el nombre de Annabelle. Y esa chiquilla no vivía con otro pensamiento que el de amarme.
You hear about this guy he's a really good guy. He gives lots of charity, he's kind to kids, you know, he's good looking like me, you know, and like he, you know, and all the, I don't know, whatever, right? Whatever you think, you know, this guy is a great guy. Yeah. But this guy keeps on saying bad things about his parents. Don't talk about my parents. My parent, you know, he just says bad things. So you being a journalist, you say, I want to find out, who are these parents? They must be awful people, right? So you track them down and you interview them. And you find out that they're the sweetest, nicest, kindest people. They gave everything to their son. Everything. Everything to educate him. They lived in poverty so that he could, you know, whatever you think, but they gave everything. They never did anything bad to him, right? Now what do you think of this guy? He's a creep now.
There you go. Coffee. And we'll finish pouring it all in, but not all of it. Leave that last little bit because it's nasty. Got that charcoal flavor.
Why? Now I'm watching you eat.
You're such a liar. You're such a liar. You're watching me right now because I can see the green light.
I know, it's on video.
Oh, okay.